So, free will is a really big topic in philosophy, and I've discussed it a few times on this channel, but this time I'm just going to be talking about why it's a somewhat pointless discussion actually, and why humanity not having any free will doesn't matter. If you want some context as to why free will doesn't exist, I have a video explaining it, and I've put the link in the description. So, in that video I explain why free will cannot possibly exist. And in this one, I'm going to talk about why that conclusion has no real meaning. But before doing this, it's probably important to make a small distinction so that you understand what I mean by us having no free will. Well, the definition of free will tends to be along the lines of being able to act without being constrained by fate, past events, or the state of the universe. But of course we act based on past events and the state of the universe. Saying otherwise would be saying that we act randomly, so that's what I mean. I mean that we cannot act randomly or spontaneously. Our decisions are controlled by our past and our environment. But now, why do I like this idea? And to explain that, I'm going to start off with a very simple question. Do you feel like you have free will? Well, I hope so. At least I know I do. But as I explained in that other video, we don't have any free will. But it does feel like we do, simply because we're not aware of all the minute ways our environment and our past experiences have affected us. And so, we feel free. We feel like whatever choice we're making in the moment is spontaneous and comes from within. And in some senses it does, but it's in no way spontaneous. People tend to not like this idea, and to be honest, that makes sense. It tends to give people an uneasy feeling of being out of control. And I guess I sort of understand where that feeling originated. I just see it a bit differently. In fact, I actively like the idea. I find the concept that every second of our past has molded us into what we are now beautiful, and that every moment of our future will keep molding us in big or small ways into new versions of us that are going to take determined actions based on our past. I mean, free will existing assumes that our actions are random, and I just like the idea that our actions aren't. I like to think that they come from within us. That our actions are masterpieces made of every single moment of our past, not just some random act. Because every single moment we have ever experienced is stored in our brains in the form of certain neural wirings. And in the moment of any decision, the precise structure of your brain leads you to act in a certain way. That exact structure causes you to say hi instead of hello, and causes you to intonate certain vowels in a word, but it also causes you to like certain foods or certain people or jobs. It's you. It's your personality. And I just think it's nice to know that our personality has been shaped by all of our experiences, by the world. I mean, you're so intertwined with the world that if you want to think of it that way, you practically are the world. You are your mother and your father. You are the pet you had growing up and the school you went to. You are the friends you made and the people you met. But you're also everything that will be. Because your personality, your precise brain structure, is what will build your life. You are all the people you will meet, and the jobs you get, and all the places you travel to, and all the lives you impact. And I guess that's why I see this concept of us having no free will as beautiful. Because it shows us that life is one big conversation between the world and your mind. It affects you and you affect it. And you live your life in the stance of impacting and being impacted, and that's just amazing. And yes, we're all flesh and bone, and yes, all our decisions can be boiled down to the neurons firing in our brain. But isn't that incredible in its own right? Because that means that we're not some separate godly entity blessed with consciousness. It means that we're a part of nature, albeit the most complex structure nature has to offer, but still a part of it. I mean, some people see materialism as sad and lifeless, but I think that by not being inherently separated from the world, by simply being a product of it, product that can be boiled down to organs, cells, and molecules, we claim our position as a part of nature, and we can admire the fact that you, a clump of carbon and water, has the ability to sit here and watch this video, the ability to feel and be impacted by the world and make friends as well as good and bad choices. I think that there is beauty to be found in materialism, and the same goes for free will being an illusion.